We want to take some time to answer some of the email questions that you all have sent in. Gordon, this first one comes from Belinda, who asks, who owns Gaza and why do the Palestinians think it's theirs?
Linda, that's a great question. The reason has to do with the number of times Israel has been conquered. And when you get back all the way to Joshua, and in Joshua chapter 11, there are 3 areas that Joshua didn't conquer. He was given the ability by God, wherever your foot would tread, you get to have it. And for whatever reason, he left out 3 areas. One is Ashkelon, the other is Gath, and the other is Gaza. Gath is where Goliath came out of. Gath was utterly destroyed a long time ago. Ashkelon was destroyed. It's currently been rebuilt as an Israeli city, and that's only happened in the last 70 years. It's now one of the major ports of Israel. But Gaza has always stuck out, and today it's become absolute stronghold for terrorists. The Muslim Brotherhood created Hamas, and there was the famous Hamas covenant that there is no negotiation with Israel. Israel must cease to exist. They must wipe Israel off the map, and that was their vow. That was their covenant that they made. Well, they've tried to disassociate themselves from the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm not sure they're all that successful with it. The reason being is the Muslim Brotherhood was declared illegal in Egypt. And so if you were a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, if you took that vow, you would be put in prison. Egypt doesn't want Gaza. They view them as these radicals that all they want to do is foment violence. They don't want them. There's a fight between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. Will they ever get together? It's an absolute mess politically. But when you say, why do they think it's theirs? Well, that's because it's been outside of Israel since Joshua.
This is John, who says, are you currently taking donations that will go directly for relief to Israel?
Absolutely. It's called CBN Israel. It's a designated fund. We've had to shut down movie production, documentary production because of the war. Part of that fund used to go to those efforts, but because those efforts aren't possible now, that complete effort has been shut down. Part of it does go to news reporting, but that budget's already set. So new donations coming into CBN Israel are going to relief in Israel right now.
This is Teresa Gordon, who says, I have a biblical question for Gordon. Where in the Bible does it refer to Israel being attacked as one of the definite signs of the end of times?
You find that in Ezekiel chapter 38, and it's the war of Gog and Magog. The nations of the earth coming against Israel. If you've ever heard the word Armageddon, those nations gather in the valley of Megiddo, and it's a war against Jerusalem. They're amassing, focusing all of their strength so that they can then move on and take Jerusalem. I don't think we're there yet. Do I think we're in birth pangs? You bet. But there's so much unfulfilled prophecy, and specifically the prophecy that God is going to pour out his Spirit on the sons and daughters. That means the children of the prophets will become the prophets once again. I will yet once more be inquired of Israel for this. And you find that in Ezekiel 36. These are unfulfilled. So when is the great outpouring going to happen to Israel? That's something I'm praying for. The other condition is that Israel has to be at peace. Israel hasn't been at peace since 1948. I mean, there have been these sort of short cycles, but they haven't rested from the wars. They haven't come to peace. So we've got some time, and in that time, I encourage Christians, what are you doing to fulfill the Great Commission? Because that's another prerequisite, that the whole world will hear the gospel as a witness. So let's redouble our efforts. Let's get the job done.
This is Debbie, who says, as a Christian, how do I respond to a Muslim friend who supports the attack on Israel?
I would be very blunt with them. Why do you want to kill people? You know, call it for what it is. It's murder, it's mayhem. Why do you want to behead babies? Why do you want to cut the limbs off of living people? Why do you want to throw gasoline on people and light them on fire? What in the world is that? And if that is something that people are chanting, God is great while they're doing it, well, I don't know that God. Why would you ever want to worship that God? When you look at that, that's the face of evil. And if they support the face of evil, they've got to ask themselves the question, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? This is horrible.